Hey there, Madison High School students, and welcome to week number 7. And I look forward to seeing what everybody's coming up with. Our time is short on this course, and so I do want you to be prepared for it to go pretty fast this week and next. So if you have not yet, put things on your to-do list. Now is the time to do so. So you've got the first draft of your final paper due at the end of this week. And yes, I understand it's going to feel fast. I totally get it because we are all there. And last year when I did this course, it was during Helene. So I know that it's going to feel a little bit different, maybe a little uncomfy. But I want you to know that you can do it and that it is a truncated course, which means done in 4 weeks. Done in 8 weeks instead of 16. So it is fast, but you got this, okay? So you are going to do just fine, but just bear with me, okay? So the first thing is I sent you all an update in email about AI use. And so I know that AI is here. I know that online classes can be a challenge. And I also know that it is very easy to rely on technology to do the thinking when you are busy. That is totally understandable. But as a reminder, I sent you my policy. If I notice that you are using AI unethically, as in if I feel like it is copy and pasted from ChatGPT, I will mark it as not competent and I'll ask you to redo it. I have not encountered that much, but I did hear from a few different sources that folks are relying a little bit too heavily on it. So this is your time to course correct and do the work yourself. Remember, it is a tool. Everything is a tool. If you use the tool well, then you are using it ethically, which means following my AI guidelines sheet and then never using AI as a final product. It should have just the bones of your ideas and then it needs to be your words. If you use it because you don't understand how to do a précis, then you can have it help you make the bones, but you need to be doing the writing. If you're not doing the writing, you're not doing the thinking, period, the end. Don't short yourself. And I want to make sure that you all complete this course with the grade that you would like to get. That being said, I know that some people are feeling a little frustrated because not all of your grades are exactly where you want them to be. And don't worry, you have time to get them there. And the next 2 weeks, like we're going to see some shifts and it'll be all right. So what is going to happen this week is that 20% of your final grade is going to come from your final essay. So if you open this up, this is the essay that all AB Tech 111 students do. Okay. So you are going to narrow it down for your topic, pop culture, social media culture, or a field of study or a burning question. So pretty much anything that you want as long as you go into detail about what it is and you do proper research. Now, you all have been practicing your research skills, so you're getting better. You will be required to use MLA. Many of you, about half, had issues with MLA on your essay 1. So if you have any doubts about MLA, go through all of the materials, make sure that you see all of the resources that I gave you and follow them. You need to have a clear line of reasoning. You have to have in-depth analysis. You have to use outside research, and that you have to have a debatable argument. So the only thing that you need to know that is going to be different than a regular run-of-the-mill research paper is that I am going to ask you to use one credible source that is multimodal, like a YouTube video or something that is not necessarily scholarly or a website. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be revising and writing and working through these. And so just kind of remember that these are the gen ed outcomes. This is a writing and inquiry class, so it is writing heavy. You can do it. I know that writing research papers is not everybody's favorite. You can do it. It will be okay. You will make it through it and you will be successful. All right. So your rubric is copied here. This is 20% of your final exam. So you are going to be assessed on your research supported topic, following MLA guidelines, organizing and being very clear in your paragraph development, and then your integration of analysis and quotes. This is the same rubric that everybody at AV Tech uses. So it is the final exam that is used across. So therefore, we are following what AV Tech's protocol is. Okay. All right, so here are the resources that I'm going to give to you while you're writing this week. I'm going to go over some researched argument lecture stuff. And then I have a couple of example researched arguments. What you're going to do this week is you're going to do a little workshop on counter arguments. You're going to do a little gathering of source notes. I would suggest you do this early in the week. And then you need to post your first draft for peer review. And that should be done by Thursday, if possible, to get feedback for next week. If you need an extra day or two, just come up with that with your partner so that you can get a good peer review. I said it is Thursday, but that's really dependent upon how your schedule goes. All right, so as we're going through, I'm going to show you these researched argument lecture slides so that you can get moving. All right, so we've been working on a lot of argument over the last couple weeks. And so when you have argument, you also need to bring in academic sources if you're doing a fully developed research piece. So you're going to have mixed media in here, as well as academic journals, books, and online articles. One thing that I always tell my students is to always make sure that your piece follows the CRAP test, which is currency, relevance, purpose, authority, and accuracy, which means that your sources that you are pulling from are non-biased sources. So like for the Monday Matters News Forum, we had a lot of biased sources, which is fine. But when we're honing down, we want to make sure that we have the least amount of bias as possible so that when you're making your argument, you have a strong argument. So when you're looking at your sources, you want to think about, when was it published? Is it timely, right? If it's about the coronavirus and it's from 2020, that's not going to be very timely. But it's also going to be relevant, right? Is it relevant to your topic, or are you cherry picking facts? Authority, right? Where's the source of the information? Why should we trust them? Why do they know what they're talking about? The accuracy, which is the reliability and truthfulness of the content. That one is where you have to like fact check, and make sure that you're going in different places to make sure that the information you have is factual. And then of course there's the purpose, which is why the information exists. If it's selling something, that's going to be a very different type of source. You may have or may not have seen the media bias chart. This is a place for you to kind of look and like check and see like where your information is coming from. Is it a liberal magazine or a news source? Is it a conservative magazine or news source? Is it more neutral, unbiased? And if you just Google media bias chart, you will see this, and it's a good place for you to check your news sources and make sure that they're not leaning too heavily on one side or the other. So when you're looking for sources this week, think about, so the online sources like websites, mixed media should be written within the last 5 years, or reputable. Sites to kind of avoid, Wikipedia is sort of. And the reason I say sort of is because Wikipedia is a great starting point if you trace their sources. Just don't use Wikipedia as a source because it is something called a tertiary source, which means that it compiles other sources together. So it's better to trace those sources. Reddit or like HuffPost or anything like that are like very, very biased in their marketing, you need to avoid ish. So, but you can, like it says here, you can use their sources on the bottom of the Wikipedia. Okay, so when you're fishing Wikipedia, evaluate the sources, right? Anybody can evaluate a wiki article, so it's always good to look at where their sources are and make sure that you can actually locate the source that's possibly a paper. Like if you see this, okay, where is it coming from? and you can click on the source at the bottom of Wikipedia, and then you can go here and you can kind of evaluate whether or not the source itself is going to be reliable or peer-reviewed. Other online sources, libraries. So you have access to the AB Tech library, and there's also your Madison High School library, and then you also have other resources with Mr. McKinney and your other teachers around. The Digital Library of Congress, chroniclingamerica.loc.gov has a lot of good sources. If you use EBSCOhost, EBSCO is a really good place for you to start to find scholarly articles. And then, of course, Google Scholar is a good place for you to find scholarly articles. If you have any trouble accessing scholarly articles, or if you would like some guidelines on how to get there, let me know. But you also need to check that it's created by an expert in the field. So like this is where your news sources are going to have problems, because sometimes they will write editorials or op-eds and not be experts. Peer reviewed or from a reputable library or content site. Peer review means it's the process by which scholars assess the quality and accuracy of each other's research papers. So when they're published or peer-reviewed in journals, that's what that means.
At university, you'll often be asked.
And so I have this clip here. I'm not going to watch it for you right now. You can watch it on your own, but it gives you more detail about what it is to look for a peer-reviewed article. And so it'll walk you through that if you need some extra attention on. As you're finding your sources, narrow your topic as much as possible. It will help you come up with the best possible research, especially if you're using a database like EBSCOhost, JSTOR, anything like that, Academic Search Complete. But you need to narrow your searches down, right? So if it's cats, you got to narrow it down. Domestic cats from Perth, Australia. Popular domestic cats for Perth, Australia in 2022. Just making it as specific as you can to make sure that that what you're producing is accurate. Try different combinations of keywords. That's a big one. Okay, so school library. So make sure that you're looking in the school library or Google Scholar or JSTOR or BASE or ERIC, and going to any of those places to find sources that you can access. So these are the questions as you are looking at journals that I want you to think about. Make sure that it is written within the last 5 years, written by a reputable source, reputable library or location, right? Is this article available for free? Is it available? Is it peer reviewed? So this is an example search on Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Okay, so this is like a base search. So just very easy. Like if you go on base and you just do a little search and you go Anne Boleyn and then you search, then you can come up with these different sources. Reformation Cranmer with special reference to its doctrine. Anne Boleyn, oh, that one's in a different language. We don't want that. Drama of Coronation, medieval ceremony in early modern England. Huh, interesting. I'm looking into marital ceremonies in early modern England. I might like this article. And then you can come here and be like, okay, it's a book. This is an abstract from a book. Is it accessible? Well, no, not really. Are there other places I can access it? Maybe not. So those are the different places that you can start searching as you go through. Okay, so I'm gonna finish up here and let you guys go searching. Oh, source issues. So as you're doing media literacy, make sure that you know who wrote the article, why'd they write it, and maybe some things to consider is, do they have a big enough sample size? Is it reputable? Is it peer reviewed? That sort of credibility goes a long way. I'm going to skip ahead this. Okay, so these are some bias Things to watch out for in online articles is titles to watch out for, like this one, the 10 most delusional facts of the lunatic right left wing fact checkers. Like if you see stuff like that, it's going to be most definitely biased. And so if you find sources that are very like easily swayed one way or the other, you're going to get very swayed data. So just being aware of that. And some other keywords to think about is agenda, right? Underlying intentions or motives of a particular person of group, hyperbole, anything exaggerating. You want to look for objective facts. And then there's also things like parodies and satires that you do not want to use as credible sources, like The Onion, that are not fact checked. And so the last couple things that I want, and I want you to go through this PowerPoint more when you have more time, but I also have sentence frames for you to use your research. And these sentence frames are called They Say, I Say, and there are different ways that you can use these to write about research in a controlled sentence frame way that's giving you that support so that you don't rely on ChatGPT. And this is an example. In recent discussions of the coronavirus, a controversial issue has been whether the pandemic is being appropriately addressed. On the other hand, Johnson argues that panic is creating unnecessary fear in the public. The article from the CDC indicates. So this is a way that you can use a They Say, I Say example to set up your information. These are some information pieces on embedding and running in quotations so that you're not dropping your quotes. And these are some other sentence frames. This shows that which signifies. The author uses this to demonstrate the relation between X and blank so that you're always coming back to that commentary piece. And then I have a couple of sample paragraphs here. I'm not going to read them out loud, but I have a sample body paragraph, and then I also have a sample introduction to help you in your guidelines. So there are some different citation tools that you can use. Google has one, Scribr has one, Citation Generator has one. The only big thing is if you use the citation generator, please double check that it's getting all of your information. And the last thing I wanted to leave you with is these are things that I use with my high school students. Not all of them are helpful. Some of them will be more helpful than others, but they are here for you. So as you are developing your final paper, you have all the resources that you need to be successful. All right, so I know that that was a lot, and I know that the next couple weeks are going to feel like a lot. And just remember, like, you got this. As you start writing, just write and just keep on writing, work through the revision process. Let me know what goals that you have to improve before the 20th. And thank you all. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day.